consistency continuing to play off here, living off the siphon mats. Refines, clicks there for the revenge elimination, and it just might rouse for Epic Whale, who's here on the low ground. Yup, of course.
Now, I believe that's another one of our lower bracket teams that's coming up with a big victory royale here in day 2.
Yeah, lower bracket boys coming out and representing right now. Takasito 21 with the big win right here, and also just can we give some respect to Clicks, who, by the way, clutched up on behalf of course, the save, and then this. So game 2 is going to go to Takasito in 21 here. Congratulations on your finals position and slot. You definitely earned it there by taking home the dub, right, Taco?
Yeah, especially when you spoil alert there. More to say.
Thank you guys so much. Game number 2, Takasito and 1M at 21. I've only got to assume it's 1 million at 21. Sorry if I also mispronounced your names. I'm just bad at reading. That's a fact. But hey, look, this duo now just punched their ticket going to the grand finals. They're good, right? No more need to stress. No more need to worry about upper brackets or lower brackets. It's just all focus. Next weekend, grand finals. We're trying to play for spots in global championships. I'm sure for the duo coming in, especially on game number 2, being a lower bracket duo to qualify like this just has to feel amazing.
What a crazy win, actually. I mean, on the high ground right there with 0
Oh my god,
and for some reason, Mako just kind of goes up unsuspecting of a duo up there, hands them a refresh. And listen, I won't lie, I was rooting for Reed and Ritual in that end game right there. I saw Reed had a plethora of builds, and I was like, oh yeah, this is where Reed 1v2s, but no, that deal was shut down very, very quickly. Well handled by the duo. Out of the lower bracket again, Kelly, I don't know. I'm seeing a storyline here.
Yeah, I mean, if there is anyone to 1v2 a duo, it would be Reed. But unfortunately, he was not able to pull that off right now. But the duo that did, Takasito and 1 mil, it got 26th place out of the lower bracket yesterday. So barely even made it into the upper bracket. They did get a few top 5 placements, but not a victory royale. So excited to see just such a jump in improvement out of this duo.
Yeah, and listen, here's Reed and Ritual. Listen, they were such a good spot. Look at this, 90 builds. And yeah, unfortunately for them, the change just getting into the box takes out Ritual. And honestly, listen, if that didn't happen, if they were able to stay alive as a duo, 100% they were winning this game. But still, as you can see, Reed being left in a pretty good position as a solo here. I mean, plethora of extra heals to work with. Many builds as well, and hits a nice shot on the Epic Whale as well. Again, Balder's going to pull up the 1v2. Not this time.
And their aggression started off pretty early. Reed and Ritual were in a fight for Rift Island for what felt like forever against Nerface and Severse. But then a third party came in, eliminated that duo. And then, of course, in classic Reed and Ritual, they returned the favor and then eliminated the third party, of course. So although they didn't get the victory royale, they are currently sitting in our 4th place spot, just below Clicks and Epic Whale. Man, we really thought that they were going to be able to do it again. But look at the jump up. The 2 teams.
Okay. FaZe, Epic, Kanata, Cooper, Elite. This guy. Yeah, so they're in the top 10 place, and that guy has 1,000 points. FaZe, Epic, they're not doing good, but they're not doing so bad. So, yeah. Yeah, Peter bought all of them. They already made it to the finals. Acorn and Cold. Yeah, they already made it to the finals, chat. So, yeah.
Out and
these points, it's just if you get a victory out, you're good to go. We'll kind of separate those guys at the top. And now for everyone else, they're trying to stay up in that top 25. Kanata and Cooper slowly starting to fall there, just below Click and Reed, of course. But in that case, out of that last game, right, because they ended, 2nd and 3rd place respectively, of course, they have quite an influx of points. But again, when we kind of bring up that consistency, Kanata and Cooper, they just have this in droves, it feels like.
Yeah, and oddly enough, probably the worst game we've seen from Kanata and Cooper so far over the course of the 2 days. And of course, it was a 14th place with 3 eliminations. And a lot of that kind of had to do with the fact that they actually got to these moving zones with not a lot of builds. So not entirely sure what happened there. Of course, still very, very good on Storm Surge, which is usually the game plan for the duo. But yeah, just made it to the end game and not in a good position.
All right, so got this guy. Him. Gotta make it the top 50, chat. Alright, so these kids right here. These kids are insane. I don't know why they're in top 17, but their placement, they're doing bad. But these kids, they're insane. I think this used to be Poilo's duo, something like that.
Yeah, around zone 9, they weren't a terrible. Them, placing below 25th today. There's no way. But can they get the victory royale? It seems always so close, but just out of reach.
It's interesting kind of seeing the jump from yesterday, right? Yesterday felt a lot more controlled. It felt like, there was plenty of control and dominance of resources, right? Fortnite is a resource-based game. You get to the end game, you have no resources. It's going to be really tough for you. But now it feels like the shakeup from these duos coming in from the lower bracket, a lot of duos just don't have anything, right? They're burning all these resources. What do you guys think is happening?
I mean, it's just that thing where we were talking about earlier, right? A bunch of new teams kind of coming in. You got to adapt to how the lobby is kind of playing out. And honestly, for some of our well-vetted teams, those that are used to kind of being in these types of situations, I would imagine that after the first 2 games, now they've got a good grasp on how the lobby is going to play out, where people are going to be basing up, what they're going to be fighting for. And I would expect some of those big names to kind of appear in the end game pretty consistently throughout the last 3 games.
I also think a lot of our players are really worried about Storm Surge, and so that they're kind of engaging in these mid-game fights that maybe they might not necessarily should be, and staying in there very long, and they're using up a lot of material. So even some of our top teams like Paco and Mixon, the EU boys, had height, but then they had 11 builds, and of course eventually they had to drop down, and that's because of the earlier engagements that they were involving themselves in. So a lot of these, it comes down to just not just one variable, but so many different circumstances that put them in there. And I think a lot of people are really struggling with Storm Surge right now.
Yeah, when you put a DMR in the hands of players like this, right, everyone's going to have Surge, and then you're kind of fighting each other for Surge, Vivid. And that's where it kind of gets a little bit difficult, especially when you have like push bombs and height all around. It's crazy.
Yeah, a bunch of those surge bases catching a lot of our competitors off guard. Of course, those bunkers playing a big role as well. Those teams being able to go ahead and throw those thermal scopes on those DMRs. Extremely dangerous. A lot of damage from range.
A lot of damage, but a lot of opportunity as well coming our way for game number 3, Zeke. I am excited to see who's going to grab the 3rd VR.
I am excited and stressed. We only have so many games left to go. Let's aim for that victory out. Let's aim for that top 25. But now it's time to jump back up on that battle bus. We've got our eyes in the sky, MDF and the best Taco to guide us all through.
That's right. Thank you, Zeke. And hey, look, I'm looking at teams like Blake and Macwood who have also shown up and put up a great performance now that things have kind of changed for them here on the second day of the upper bracket, not being contested from yesterday. So we're seeing the teams make the right steps in the right directions here, Taco, as they've had new chances here.
I'm just looking at our upper bracket teams in general right now, MDF, because it's all been lower bracket representation.
Records are essentially being formed right now as
The
2
game
teams from
has
the lower
started.
bracket have come in and swept the first 2 games here in the NA region. That is not something we see happen very often. In talking about
All right,
different
Clicks.
type
We got
of
Clicks.
new feel going on right here,
Clicks
Clicks and Epic Whale
Is
get
a
the lavish
glit-
layers
is a great
themselves. So
off-spawn. Clicks is a great off-spawn fighter, so I don't expect him to die just yet.
say that Clicks was not about that duo at all last game. He was really holding it down. He was working what seems to be both those players, Poppy Blast and Dragon, and I think they felt that pressure, right? It seems like they're like, let me get out of here, man. Maybe Clicks is a little too good.
I mean, it's the fact that Epic gets the revenge blaster on Poppy
Ooh,
in
yeah.
that last match, but Zaire kicking things off hot here at the chasing down the other teams looking to contest you at this POI. But it's not about these early eliminations necessarily at Grimgate. It's more about your survivability odds, because so many times we'll see teams successfully eliminate that first duo they encounter, or turn a duo into a solo, and that solo then retreats. But the third-party engagements are so problematic because they typically don't have enough left over to continue the engagements.
Dang.
We jumped right into DK
They
and
did that
Bacon.
emote on him.
getting dropped. Little crab dance. Oh, he's tapping out to see that or send the message. So
It's a lower bracket team, man. It's a lower bracket team contesting the upper bracket. And TK and Bacon, they were uncon yesterday at Restored Reels. Not going to be the story here. And Restored Reels is not really a POI that you want to be tragic for TK and Bacon.
Ooh.
Oh, they're in a fight.
That
It's getting
explains
intense.
so much.
Wow.
Beautiful accuracy on that sniper. The double
That's
down,
cool.
though, that's just a
Insane.
mental game.
Insane. With the Evo. Oh, my God.
Ibaka kind of hovering. Right side peak, a little bit more to his advantage. But Possess, certainly not one to shy away from danger by any means. Ibaka's got to be careful, though. Doesn't want to lose sight of Possess duo. Just in case, Jacek will take the opportunity to expend a little bit of Flowberry Fizz, help his duo regain some of that shield. I like the attentiveness as well from Ibaka, just throwing up a ramp behind him, wants to make sure that
Is this
third-party
fight
circumstance
intense?
can't come into
Yeah.
play. But
I don't know who any of these people are. What this fight is kind of intense. So let's watch this, man.
this split, I wonder where Spawn's been throughout all of this. Saw that he was relatively low on shield. Could be part of the reason why he opted to just let Ibaka take over the helm with the charge.
Yeah, the point disparity between these two teams, 30 placement points separate Possess Jacek from Chewbacca and Xpawn here at this contested drop. So it really shows you that Xpawn and company have been taking advantage and winning for the most part. But just because you win the first two doesn't mean you're guaranteed to close out strong. Anything can happen. And once again, to kind of hit on that fact, this is the first time across all regions that the lower bracket teams have won the first two games. Don't forget, the lower bracket format was completely different as well. It was more of your standard open qualifier style of game where a select number of teams and participants had 10 total games to play within the time frame. Whereas what you're seeing in this upper bracket is a completely different environment. You're in the same lobby with the same duos round after round, which can lead to arguably its own difficulties and struggles. So very impressive nonetheless to perform well out of the lower bracket and then come into the upper bracket and win under the upper bracket rule set.
And even better still, fighting your way up from that lower bracket. It's got to give you a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum. And that certainly seems to be the case here in NA today. I mean, we saw even on EU, Teeny and Trap do an excellent job as far as getting their qual in. But Braden, Zaire, it's almost like they want to run down Chubbs and Aviv, but yeah, Braden going to catch sight of Dukes. Dukes didn't have that wall up in time, so he will eat a DMR tag for it. It's a great example of how you can't hyperfixate on any one position. You might spot a player at, always have to be wary of their duo, Miro. Return fire there.
Oh, Miro's playing?
Yeah, that could have gone
Miro.
much, much worse if there was a
Miro
sniper
with
on the other side of that
FNCS again.
barrel. But
Both of them.
yeah,
Times
things do
FNCS winner.
end up being, I guess,
No
slightly
Miro
favorable
win
for Dukes there.
FNCS job.
One thing to mention, Miro and Dukes are just coming off of an elimination as well on the Aiden. So
Right now.
Hound likely a solo here. Dragon and Poppy Glass abandon the
Cooper
Lavish drop
is
spot.
also playing.
They land on Rapid and Booga. Rapid is going to go in and clutch up here for the duo. Batman Booga, who was taken out to the hands of Poppy Blast there. So well played for Rapid and Batman Booga. They have a chance here now as this was a fight for the reboot van. That'll be a quick pickup and a bounce back here. Rapid's pretty happy about that one.
I have to imagine that Poppy Glass and Dragon probably just going to
Miro and
opt to
Dukes.
revisit Lavish Lair. I
And my
mean,
boy
yeah.
Miro.
I understand the mentality behind feeling as though you've got better odds switching up the drop if things haven't been panning out in your favor. But at the same time, when you've been practicing one specific position and you just know that route down pat, usually have better odds just sticking to where you are most comfortable, but understandable considering the circumstances.
loot is
Dealing with
actually
Clicks and Epic
insane.
Whale off spawn is definitely no easy feat.
I don't think they've actually recognized that there's a team lurking right behind them, and these are wood walls. They could get 3-2-1 right here, and probably boxed up right now. Is that
team behind them? No.
yeah?
Miro.
Not Braden.
Miro.
Fire Cow coming right back up. They're under the box.
No.
So
Miro.
many options here. You can cone them,
Bro.
break them.
Oh,
You can just
Miro.
break the wall, piece them. Okay, they go for the full
No,
piece. The
man.
ramp goes under and then takes him
No.
down. There's just
Miro.
nothing you can do about that when a team gets that close. Instant headshot,
No.
and Miro takes off.
No, Miro and Dukes. No, man. You did bad, bro. Oh, no, bro.
To the
I'm honestly a little bit speechless. Miro and Dukes were just so confident that they were alone on top of that mountain. But you're not going to get a much better example than that of just the unpredictability that is introduced.
what goes through your mind when your ramp gets broken out? You're like, what just happened?
I could think of several things that Dukes might have said in that circumstance, but not sure that their mind is shared. It's definitely a really tough spot though for Miro to be left in one more time, running it back as a solo. But we've seen Miro definitely make better of worse situations, right? So there's definitely still opportunity for him to try and turn it around.
The bunkers are starting to open up here across the Fortnite landscape. Clicks and Epic Whale. This is a very critical part of their strategy here to get their attachments, to find their snipers, find their weapons, and really bank out here. Let's see what's going to happen, what's going to come of it. Definite upgrades and options to choose from. More Flowberry Fizz as well, but luckily the storm is right there.
Couldn't really tell, but it didn't seem as though those chests were very generous in terms of providing white heals for Clicks and Epic Whale. On that note,
they were on the edge, and that's the
True.
one thing that they did have going for them. If that was like deep into the storm, like a deep bunker, probably be GG.
I like this though from Muzz and Paper. Seems like they're kind of just trailing behind Bolts on the rotate. Paper clearly ate a shot from somebody else's weapon
Miro
just now.
rebooted?
Miro, look at that.
Miro?
It's got
Ow.
Dukes.
He rebooted.
Already
He
back.
get back up that mountain. Same one that took them down. They're going right back up to that launch pad here. Material split, ammo split, everything comes out of Miro here. It really looks like, oh, it's Chubb, so it's a completely different duo who's trying to make their way towards the launch pad as well.
Kanata
This time,
Cooper,
does
the
seem like Miro
champion.
spots out the threat nearby. He's
Kanata
not letting
and
his guard down
Cooper.
anymore here.
My boy
Cooper and
Cooper.
Kanata back in the game here as well. The pickups seem to have been successful. The heals are in. Can Kanata find and get to this HP in time is the question right now. There's other teams flying by right now. It's Pars, it's Baka who's healthy as well. Cooper spots him first, puts the walls down, and not as long gone here is dashing right now. They're gonna have to play probably the pickup train right here.
That's what it looked like at the end. See Kanata getting
Oliver.
knocked to that
Oliver
storm
OG.
damage.
Look at this. The bases get uglier every week. I don't know what's going on right here. This is like two walls in the middle, a ramp out the side. It's just crazy.
Hey, if it works though, Monster. But he's finding the eliminations apparently outside of the tower. Good stuff with that elim onto Bryce. Kind of amazing at the fact that he was able to connect those DMR shots without a scope.
That was a huge base, by the way. They had to build 3 floors to come down to get off of that. And now trying to play for the Rift Island once again here. So this just seems to be a key part of his strategy here. They catch Rift Island, no strangers to straight fighting for it. They know what's going to come with that. Last game was a sample of a battle. That's it.
Well, the other thing, too, they built that massive surge tower, and yet their materials are relatively healthy. I mean, they're basically maxed out, just missing a little bit of metal. But here on top of Rift Island, if they're successful with this capture point, bound to draw the attention of some other teams. You can already see a couple hovering right around the base of this Rift Island. Ritual is going to go ahead and dismantle their tower. They don't want to allow any other teams to try and seek it out as an opportunity.
Cooper and Kanata, no white heals just yet. Still playing the Res Train game right now. And Cooper might fall before getting in. No, he's going to be right on the money there. Very, very close. Team on the heels, though. Do they know? Oh, my gosh. Someone was very, very close to Kanata and Cooper, but you can see everyone desperate to get out of the storm here is the priority for the most. No mats, no heals. It's shambles town right now. Ooh,
they might be able. Okay, yeah, that's definitely going to help out. Every little bit counts at this point. And Kanata, mat situation slightly better than Cooper's. Cooper's going to have to spend a decent amount of time here refarming, and that's dangerous because teams bound to take note of where exactly things are breaking as Cooper tries to refarm. Sandler, Blanc, stuck in the middle, but they've already seemed to have gotten a piece of B-Dog in the process. Sandler, though, jumps into B-Dog's box, immediately taken out for it. Fortunately enough for Sandler, his duo is still standing, and Blanc won't be able to go for the revive in time. Does have the reboot card, however, and if he can full disengage, he might have a chance. It's a slim one, but he could try to make his way towards one of those reboot vans. See if he can bring Sandler back to life here. Right now, he's probably just happy about the fact that they got those 2 eliminations confirmed and didn't get full wiped in the process.
Yeah, that was crazy. The duo showed up just in time and Blanc managed to slip out. One key elimination I saw on the feed there, Rapid, who was also a solo nearby Kanata and Cooper at that position on the outskirts there, found an elimination. So that's crazy because he was also in shambles with no HP, one of the few teams that came late out of the storm. So just a little bit of a turn of events here. Clix and Epic Whale back in the game right now. That's at about the midway point, so not great, not bad. Definitely some farming and some catching up to do here. Kanata and Cooper should be very much back in the game at this point as they've had time to go in and farm, and seems like Kanata's actually worse for wears on materials, so fights likely breaking out here, holding him back.
For sure, but the water-bending Mythic, just as they finish trying to get a little bit of farm going, Kanata already finds himself completely whittled away as far as his builds are concerned. And at the same time, that position that we just saw Clix and Epic Whale in, one issue that they had is the team on Rift Island. Wonder if Reet and Ritual were still hanging out up there, but if Epic and Clix wanted to look for aggressive opportunities, surge opportunities, they had to worry about that team on Rift Island getting freebie peaks on them and applying pressure from a distance that they can't necessarily close anytime soon. Neko and Xavi as well, trying to see if they can rush in onto Kanata and Cooper, recognizing the fact that Kanata, Cooper, they've definitely drawn some attention from other teams in the lobby. That's going to be Xavi finding himself worse for wear here, tries to use those Chains of Hades, but it's not going to be good enough. Kanata, though, waterbending Mythic. Cooper trying to strafe through all of these low ground sections, but there's just too much pressure. you can see just how much fire is actually being applied to these boxes. And if it wasn't bad enough for Neko trying to hold down these walls, he's got another team pressuring from behind, and it's going to be way too much to deal with. But I don't even think this is the situation that higher end player I want to be in, because this team's 3 different teams essentially just honing in on this current position.
And it's with waterbending mythics. There's no cooldown, nothing to stop them. Infinite, you know what I'm saying? Pressure they can put down right now. That was just about as bad as it could get for a duo to find themselves under surge. And that's by far the least, stellar performance we've seen from Cooper and Kanata. Definitely a bad one for sure. But you got to get those out the way, so might as well get it out here and now while they have such a monstrous lead, while they've effectively secured themselves at least a consistency position for tomorrow. So not much to really worry about at this point other than trying to secure a dub.
I just can't believe the literal war crime situation that we saw happening to Cooper and Kanata there, man. But focus back to Clix and Epic. I was talking about how much I like their position. Larson, great chop out onto Larson. Yeah, that's going to be an easy elimination. And then again, X-Spawn, Mubaka. These are some massive refreshes that Clix and Epic have stumbled upon. I shouldn't even say stumbled. They generated that opportunity for themselves. And now they find themselves with another real chance here to try and make a run for a victory royale.
Yeah, just straight cleaning up house right now. Very well placed for Clix and Epic. Well, putting them right back into the game here. Definitely earning a lot of points. I don't know if they have the win condition presented to them just yet. I'd like to see them find this set of refresh here. It's not even the points they need, it's the materials they need to generate off of this elimination right here. They find Decal, and then do not let their guard down for Braden on the side there. And there, at the very least, is some generated siphon mat. So that's going to bounce them comfortably back up.
Got Fizz?
Yeah.
That's a lot of Flowberry Fizz for Epic and Clix to have their hands on. It's also going to alleviate some of the pressure or some of the issues that could be dealt with the zone falling over towards this Mount Olympus side. The elevation changes just so drastic that the zone pools can be vicious. But when you have 3 separate bottles of Flowberry Fizz to burn through, I would expect them trying to both challenge for height, moving over the terrain as is.
Well, this is it. There's only 5 games. This being game 3, this win is going to be very, very important. This is the critical mid position, the midpoint checkpoint in this tournament day. Oh, Verse gets caught off by himself, and so does Nerface. I like the decision from Shore to say, hey, forget going down low and putting our back to this opponent here. He starts to hold off Nerface, lets the zone do the rest for him. Meanwhile, Sprite finds Sharkman there. And they have to go. They've overstayed their welcome. Bananas come down for the teammates. I was going to say, I'm not even sure he was able to pick those up. That's unfortunate.
Oh, man. Sure, he's not even able to keep his builds going. Only 1 remains. The last of his hard materials have been expended. And the banana effect's bound to wear off very soon here. Sure, scrambling. Maybe could look to play the medkits for placement. If anything, at least provides a little bit more survivability for a moment. But just lost his duo Sprite, still barely functioning with 21 builds remaining. Not really seeing a whole lot of benefit in this current position either, but it's not really one that is his choice to make. He's just stuck. He knows that there's another team lurking nearby. He's going to try to play from the backside of the zone, but the moment he moves out, you can already tell he's looking back, wary that the team right next to him is going to pick him apart on the way in. But it's the other duos in the lobby, Chimp, Scissor, spraying down, Shore, Force, to kind of just run through all these pre-existing builds. Last one going to be expended here finally, and his final medkit as well. It's only a matter of time. That's what it feels like before he gets taken out.
I like what he's doing there. Plays the Storm a little bit, allow his stamina to regen. And you know what? You got to give respect to Sprite. He was taken down and immediately dropped all of his material and the heals here, just giving sure this little opportunity, as small as it may be, but to pick up these very, very crucial placement points right now, which, again, this is a team that is inside that top 10 right now, and they're earning their stay,
Clicks
earning their
just
position.
died
Clicks and
to
Epic Whale
Blake.
fall to the hands of Blake and Macwood.
Clicks
There's
just died
been
to Blake.
a little bit of a family
Summer
feud there, so
Spencer's
that's
boyfriend.
that's a crazy elim for Blake to pick up. I'm sure we're going to see something come out of that. And I thought Macwood is down and out. No, he had 1
Miro,
HP,
my boy
so
Miro.
needing those heals generated off of Clicks and Epic. And look who's still up. How is Miro and Duke still alive right now? That's another question, too, to be studied.
Miro and Dukes are definitely putting on a performance for this one because they have just been through it all, it seems like, in this lobby. And the fact that they're still standing just kind of showcases their experience. Yeah, this is a nice look for Paper and Muzz. Way above the rest of the lobby. Decent material as well. So they can definitely stick up here for a good amount of time.
Gotta hit those shots, though. These are very, very important tags to make, not only for the points, but it's the pressure. It's a setback that you put on the rest of the lobby that makes everyone think twice about going for high ground. Baka and Pars in an end game as well here. Very tight spot to be in, though. This is not looking lucrative for them by no means. We already know Miro and Duke also have a lot of work to be had here as well. So from what I can see, all the teams we're jumping in with right now aren't in a position to necessarily challenge high ground of Muzz and Paper. Muzz and Paper can have the victory run right now here.
That usually tends to be the case when it comes to Mount Olympus. Zone pull, zone ends. It's just so unforgiving trying to traverse all these natural elevation changes, and Muzz Paper, they're just going to keep ramping
base
up.
they're building out with. They have crazy material.
Skyscraper, essentially.
Full floor, full wall, full ramp. They're situated up top comfortably right there. Meanwhile, Blake and Mac with zero match just running across the side here. I was going to say, you got to find your way up because this is Mount Olympus for a reason here. If the zone's pulling just that way, it's only going to get harder and harder. Blake's down. It's all up to Macwood now. Macwood, no stranger to having no health here. What we've seen so far.
Is dead, man. He's so
misses
dead.
a pickaxe there. Barely holds on here. Right behind the player. Tries to piece him up here. He's going for it. But no, the zone.
Macwood misses that opportunity because he had to reload his shotgun, so won't get a chance to actually try blast that other player and hope that they might have had some white heals for him. Still has 30 Flowberry Fizz though. Baka also dropped underneath. Miro Dukes hanging out in the low ground. It's definitely familiar territory for someone like Miro. Things are bound to get really scrappy here as the survivors from the reign of terror that Muzz and Paper have had over the lobby so far.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Yes.
Still playing out on the high ground. One
I
more.
don't hear Muzz
Miro,
and Paper
win this,
putting pressure
Miro.
down, though. I am a
You
little
got
bit
this,
concerned
Miro.
about that. Is it the DMR? Okay, yeah, it's the DMR. It's the loadout that really isn't
got
giving
this,
them
Miro.
the favorable
Miro,
high ground
win this, man.
situation. And now Muzz is out
Come on,
of
Miro.
mats, so he's going to have to come
Come
down.
on,
Flowberry Fizz effects are
Miro.
going to come through, cap off him and his teammate. Muzz stays with what little
1v1.
builds that they have left. And I mean, the win
2v2.
condition, this is a
Miro, you
very,
got
very
this.
difficult
You
decision
got
to make.
this, Miro.
Do you go for the mountain and just
Yes,
stay
Miro.
high ground and,
Got this,
you know, choke them out to the storm, or do you go
Come on,
down?
Miro, come
And
on.
little do you know, it's Duke and Miro. They want you to come down to take
Yes!
the fight right now.
Yes, Miro
And
won.
there it
Miro
is. They
won.
have to,
Miro
and Paper
won.
gets caught.
No,
Muzz
man,
finds
no,
one,
no,
and this is
no.
where Muzz shines best.
No,
But he
no,
doesn't have a shotgun
Miro.
loaded. He just has to get the tags, and the SMG is good. Muzz and Paper do it, but it was so close.
No,
But
man.
if anybody's gonna clutch, you can definitely expect Muzz to be him. Absolutely holding it down. Not an ideal weaponry loadout by any means, but he's still
No.
making it work when it matters
Miro, you sold, man. Oh, bro, that's my favorite pro, Miro. That man just lost.
most. And honestly, Paper experiencing, he deserves this one.
That was not an easy game to win at all. And, I could tell something was up the moment I didn't really hear the tags from high ground coming down. That was the telltale sound. But Muzz comes down, SMG, DMR, like no SMG, just straight DMR has to hit the tag. Muzz is one of the most mechanically skilled players we have seen, transition into the NA region, and he continues to prove why he's such a top-tier competitor.
Yeah, you already know the relief that's probably overcome Muzz and Paper at this moment, but that's going to be a wrap on game number 3. We've got our analysts to hold it down for the rest of it.
Muzz and Paper, man, that was a nail biter to say the least. In that situation, I love how the casters kind of broke this down for us, right? The loadouts just weren't there. And like for other stages of the game, it's fine. Everything's chill. But in this situation where you're going 2v2, you've got this crazy high ground, you want something completely different. And yet in that final 1v1, 2v2, it goes in the way of Muzz and Paper. Just a crazy final few moments there where you're dropping several layers down. You're trying to track your target, find them, lock them down. Man, but for Muzz and Paper, this means the world to them.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing for me was that when we were watching that kind of 2v2 unfold, we were checking out Paper for a little bit. We were on that player POV. He had 0 mats, and MDF kind of called it out, and I was like, wow, listen, they're going to have to jump down and take the 2v2. But no, Muzz and Paper have done this before. They invest all of the materials, all of the loot onto one single person, and Muzz actually ended up having like 25 builds to work with, splashes, a couple of as well. So they invested everything in the Muzz, who was ready to play the heal off. But ended up using those mats to kind of build out. And then you saw Paper just kind of drop down and play that role of like, hey, listen, I'm going to just do as much damage as I possibly can. You go ahead and win.
Crazy stuff indeed. My gosh, this was game number 3 out of 5. And again, we see Dukes and Miro come so close, right? A global champion almost there to walk away with the win. Now, of course, still, if they find themselves in that top 25, we're good to go. Everything's fine. But after this game, with only 2 games left to go, pressure is mounting, Vivid. I'm not here for it.
Mounting, is that a little hone? Is that Mount Olympus zone that we were kind of just watching right there? I'm picking up what you're putting down.
No.
First place.
3 games have concluded already. Clix and Epic Whale find themselves as the most consistent duo so far. Still crazy, by the way, that game number 2, the reboot. But yeah, the leaderboard right now, not necessarily probably what we would expect.
Absolutely not, right? I mean, given their circumstance, like you said, that reboot, most duos in that situation, they're going to start to drop down the leaderboard, but not for them. Now, as we kind of focus in on Dukes and Miro, they found themselves almost there, right? That final second place there in this game as well. Just like the positioning, the knowledge that they have is crazy. It's next level, right? Their game sense. There's the word. I was like, Brain, where what this is? Where is it? But their game sense truly phenomenal, and they really were able to shine here in this game.
Yeah, 100%, right? Controlling the lower ground. And we've seen a win from the lower ground already today, so not necessarily the worst position to kind of be in. And Zeke, you mentioned it, right? This 2v2 fight, even though Paper and Muzz won, man, was it extremely close. Dukes could have probably had a couple more shots right here. Ooh, actually opted to go for a reactionary build right there with not enough builds to actually justify it. So that could have been the difference right there. Nonetheless, still a good game.
It was incredible game, so exciting to the point where my microphone just exploded on me. So I apologize for that. I was just too excited in that match.
That's right. Well, welcome back, Kelly. We love to hear from you and all the things that you have for us. As we kind of continue to take a look here, man, with only 2 games left to go, Kelly, I feel like some of these duos, they're kind of starting to sweat a little bit, right? If they're outside of that top 25, they don't want to go down back to the lower bracket. They want to stay here. What are we hoping these duos can do in these last 2 games?
With there being 2 games, I definitely expect to see a little bit of unique strategies coming out right now, whether that's over aggression or potentially sticking to the low ground in the end game there. There's definitely a lot of avenues for these duos to kind of have a safer run towards the end game, but I don't think they're even going to be trying to go for the victory royale. I think that's too risky. I think they're just going to try and make it to the end game so that they do stay in our top 25. And to do that, you just need to make sure that you have heals. You need to make sure that your engagements in the mid game are actually profitable, whether that's by getting eliminations, getting points, or surviving, and then making sure that you have those builds, because a lot of our duos just seem to be struggling quite a little bit with builds.
Yeah, and listen, one team, listen, the whole NA versus EU thing obviously going on. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and shout it out. Paco and Mixon, 15th place right now. And that big change from yesterday, day 1 of semifinals, where they were contested, to today, the big change being now uncontested. It seems like they're struggling to find consistently themselves in the end game, usually because of storm surge situations. So that's still playing a factor, right? Got to make sure you get top 25. Could start to get nervous for a couple of our teams here.
Yeah, I love that Kelly called that out, right? Maybe we don't go for the Victory Royale. Maybe we play this like a Grand's Lobby. Maybe we try to play that consistency factor, right? The Victory Royale, we'd love that. And if it happens, awesome. But right now, we need to try and put points on this board to stay in the top 25. Only 2 games left to go, and we have 2 casters standing by. It's Monster D Face. It's the best Taco. Friends, over to you.
But one thing I did want to say is that this time we do have some veterans taking a dub away, as well as the lower bracket teams set the pace and the tone for this upper bracket day 2. But hey, Taco, look, we're down to 2 more games of Fortnite in front of us. For the win sends you to finals.
Yeah, but there's something kind of brewing over at that Benson Fields POI MDF. I mean, 3 teams so far this weekend in NA that have qualified into grand finals out of Fencing Fields, and I'm not forgetting about Venno and Tayson earlier either over in the EU region. So there's something a little suspicious coming out of that POI. Everybody's so focused, hyper fixated on Grim Gate, but maybe Fencing Fields is the real success story here.
Yeah, I mean, it's got somewhat of a mid position to the map, right? So you have full accessibility when it comes down to your rotations, but it's been highly, highly contested. I don't think that it has been easy by any means, but either way, let's see what game 4 has in store for us. All right, here we have it. Game number 4. 2 more chances now to take a Victory Royale in order to go straight to finals. That last round was full of surprises, and quite honestly, that last engagement was one of the more exciting ones I think we've seen over the course of this FNCS so far. What a spectacular, high-quality 2v2 we watched engage there. But you know what? Now that I think about it, Miro needed those points as well, right? Like we're not even talking about the fact that they were lagging, really, really dragging their feet.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely a very big second place finish for Miro and Dukes.
They had like 30 points, I think. Like they were pretty bad.
It was definitely not the situation that you would have necessarily anticipated those 2 to be in. But again, seems like they found a little bit of their grounding. If they were able to come up with a big second place finish in that last lobby, despite how tragic it started off with Miro having to even make the reboot play for Dukes in the first place, wouldn't be surprised if they look to keep trying to essentially convert shambles situations into success stories for themselves.
Larson, Oliver OG. Another team that's also having a pretty difficult time right now getting close to that top 25 positioning.
What's really
is there.
Oh, you go ahead. I was just going to say, Breezy Coast, if they're not able to clean up this direct contest at their drop, they're kind of left in a bit of a awkward situation where they've got to basically hinge their surge strategy on rotating down towards Grand Glacier, potentially maybe even looking towards Rescue Station type of territory. But it's not easy to get surge from that position.
Yeah. The way I just feel about that duo right now is, top 25 is very much within reach when you have a foundation of 40 points already under your feet, right? It's just 2 games. So these games, they have a lot more weight. Every game has so much more weight. One big pop off and you're up inside the top 25. That's what we just watched from Miro and Duke, essentially. And we've seen Oliver OG pull his miraculous runs in the past.
He did have a pretty strong performance yesterday in the lower brackets, and looks as though Larson definitely trying to close in here onto Crims. Just hovering in the water currently. Larson not even going to take the risk. Wants to make sure that he has a little bit more shield before capitalizing on that 2 versus 1 situation. But that is a nice early win for Larson and Oliver OG. Now they can take this opportunity to actually farm out a little bit of the materials that's left over after that skirmish that just took place. And again, just some early surge.
A lot going on here. He gets to run it back. You see that perspective. Larson had the high ground. Oliver OG had the positioning, and it's the Zeus's bolts coming down from up above. The destruction being laid to low ground. Here we have Big Yo HQ right now in position outside the steps. We have a team up top here. Hard to see, hard to spot. Definitely not the best angle. They want to secure the little bit of loot that they did manage to get generated here from the player they were hunting down. And notice they only got 1 elimination from that entire engagement. So Sprite might have actually earned some of the credits there. And you can see the material count showing us that there was just a siphon worth of material, to come out of that as well. So not too great.
This could be a little bit of a plot from Kanata and Cooper. Coming out of Kieran's Crossing, they have a tendency to rotate either Underworld or try to look for a third-party opportunity on Grim Gate. And Grim Gate seeming to be a little bit more the direction take, the way Kanata was headed there. Baka and Pars, on the other hand, they're just trying to ensure that they can close out this next box fight without losing anything in the process. Only a couple of splashes here for Baka, so ideally, Fishy and Hakio might have a little bit more resources that Baka and Pars could benefit off of, carry with them through the rest of this mid-game. But they need to close this fight fast because time to elimination matters in a circumstance where every team surrounding you would love a third-party interference opportunity.
Baka and Pars have an excellent track record as far as being contested or taking early game fights are concerned. They are definitely, one of the few in NA that have, I feel like, had a full year of being fully contested and continued to show up and put up numbers in the finals. Definitely a scary team to, take a match against nonetheless. And for Fishy and Hakio here, it's not looking too good as they have kind of lagged behind getting their HP to bounce back. So advantage is fully in the favor of Pars and Baka now.
Ammo count, though, not looking too great. Every shot's got to count here for Pars on that Gatekeeper shotgun. And sure enough, he's going to be able to find 1 elimination. A little bit of an assist there out of Baka. Mayfishy just trying to run for it, but there's nowhere to escape. The launch pad not going to be your bailout opportunity this time. And now Baka, Pars, coming out of the ship at station. This is very reminiscent towards a lot of the strategies that I would see Savage and Mongrel taking, given that they're a team that also like to land at ship at station. But Baka and Pars are going to have a little bit more success with their methods, locking down some nice early surge, potentially even going to be able to cut teams off that are on the outskirts, rotating inwards. All is going to depend on how these zones actually decide to pool.
Big Whale and Clicks have themselves an elimination. I wonder if they had the Lavish Lair uncontested again this time around. If Poppy Blast and Crew, they had the decision to make. Remember, they gave up the drop and then just got bodied on their secondary strategy, which did not work. And what is Rapid up to? He's just like dashing around Clicks and Epic Whale right now, and you can see they're on high alert now. Not happy about that. Rapid, no Batman Booga in sight. Where's his teammate? Oh, there goes Clicks. Hesitates on the shot, though. Misses his opportunity.
Just crazy. Rapid just so far ahead of Batman Booga. But it seems as though Batman Booga was tied up in his own efforts, dealing with the team. That's trying to hyper ramp up from behind. And again, I'm just going to put Batman Booga Rapid on that same high alert that they had
Miro
just set
and
Clicks
Duke.
and Epic well into.
There go Miro and Dukes. My boy Miro. Favorite player.
Like how Dukes and Mirror are like, all right, we're staying away from big mountains. Just going to go and do something a little different this game. And they're going straight to the center zone right now. Oh, Miro might have spotted out a duo up top. Zero and Fade here. They're going to start sliding their way on into this little bit of a messy set of builds. They have two
Dukes just got hit.
double-sided angle, but no, another team lights up Duke a bit there with that water mythic.
Interesting, though. Just two teams sitting inside of their boxes while Miro and Dukes are pulling up. And at the same time, Xavi going to bring Neko back into the battle. Rebels Roost reboot van, though, bound to alert some of the other teams in the area. Saw at least one kind of near where Xavi and Neko are at. And not only that, but now they've got to take the time since Neko just got brought back into this. He has to reform. He has to try and get somewhat of an optimal loadout to fight with this rotation inwards. And teams that are hanging around Lavish Lair, they could potentially look to cut off the duo that's stuck at Rebels Roost for the time being. Definitely a bit more calm, though, throughout this lobby so far, MDF, and can't help but think that it's largely just due to the fact that we're looking at our second-to-last match of Upper Bracket Day 2. And many teams, if they weren't able to find success with the Victor Royale in games 1 through 3, are currently just trying to prioritize leaderboard placements in general, because 6th through 25th, that's the next sweet spot to find yourself in if you can't get that actual Victor Royale.
Yeah, definitely telling. Look at this. Aiden and Hound find 2 eliminations here. Misses on to Xavi, just playing for the pickup here at the reboot van. He thought he was safe and it was all sweet, but like the attraction from the reboot van just brought Aiden and Hound straight to the Rebels Roost. Yep, looks like the zone's starting to move in now, so they're going to pick up their spoils of war here and get right on in. This team needs it. Look, they're only at 44 points, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a big help finding those eliminations, kind of creating a little bit of a safer rotate as well. But for Hound and Aiden, the current issue is just going to be the fact that with the zone pulling more towards that Underworld, Grim Gate side of the map, keep in mind the Rivers of Styx, the Underworld dashes, it's going to be very problematic from this point on to actually try and prevent players from escaping. Just so much survivability that's allowed with the Underworld dashes, and it's just really hard to keep track of where players are actually at.
Pack of mix in rotation right now. Very reminiscent of old original Arkham Dead Side rotates, utilizing a lot of that water to go around the outskirts. Mixon and Paco have also held height longer than any other NA duo this weekend, which is crazy to even take into consideration that they haven't picked up a win after having high ground for the longest amount of time as far as a full height hold is concerned. And it makes you wonder, like, could they just time it a little bit better, right? 'Cause that's really what it comes down to. Go too soon, and more often than not, that's the problem.
Well, the other thing, too, is even when teams have height in NA, what they don't ever seem to have is builds. And so that could be a big contributing factor for as to why we see so much hot potato essentially being played from the high ground. Batman Booga trying to take advantage of that DMR from inside of his surge base. I like the fact that Bam Buddha and Rapid have also split. They're at the Underworld. They got a pretty good idea. If a team is going to rotate in from Rebels Roost, they'll be able to spot them out, and there's typically not going to be teams much further than Rebels Roost. Otherwise, you're looking at what, like a Paco and Mixon rotation, but on the north side, and can't say I really expect any of the teams that drop towards that north side of the map to be opting for that sort of strategy. So it's just nice to try and get some surge that way.
It comes with its own risk, right? Being so far away from other teams. Bryson Bolts, though, here's a team that we haven't seen much of their early and mid games, I would say, but we have seen a lot of their end games as they have really fought tooth and nail to consistently remain within the top 3. A win feels like it could be all but guaranteed before this weekend's over at some point or another, as they've just kind of figured out, I feel like they've really figured out what they want to do in the mid to early games to pop up and show up so often in the end game.
Almost surprised to see Reeton Ritual at the Rift Island. But Bryce, Bolts, they've got a tango with Shore and Sprite up here now, and Bryce already ate a tag just on the way up, taking that Rift in the first place. So he's definitely going to look for this opportunity to recover his shield. And Victor and B-Dog could be another team to essentially pose a threat currently for Bryson Bolts. But again, one of the central benefits of being up here on the Rift Island is just knowing that you can refarm brick and materials in general, no problem. Sprite, though, not going to make it easy for Bryce. I like what Bolts is doing, though, trying to set up a box on the edge of Rift Island. But it has drawn the attention of Sprite and Shore, so we'll have to be wary. He doesn't want to find himself getting chopped out above that many people.
Who will win this game?
So much players here at the Grim Gate. Under the 60-point situation, looking for Reeton Ritual right now. Excellent performance here. I mean, this is, if anything, what will likely be just a glimpse of how they look to play, or will look to play, the finals next week. They've got their strategies. They've found their consistency, but can they continue to rack up high placing positions, top spots, hopefully a win, secure in their finals spot, lock it in. Talked about these bases ever evolving. I don't know what in the world Chewbacca and X-Bot have going on up here, but it's an interesting one. They're utilizing the Bush Bomb here too, just to have full reign on players in the distance, and feels like it's very much meta to have the thermal scope on the DMR right now as well.
Yeah, the indirect buff of that thermal scope with the reintroduction of those big Bush bombs, but still not easy to actually connect with those shots. You saw the way the players were rapidly rotating, rapidly dashing. It's helping everybody save a little bit more of their material count, though, with the zone falling more towards this River of Styx and the underworld water area in general. But Blake and Macwood, pretty happy to see this campfire currently. They don't have, at least Blake doesn't have any white heals currently, so this is going to be a very big benefit, a nice setup point to help Blake and Macwood essentially try and propel themselves a little bit closer towards the action. They have managed to secure a slight dead side portion of the zone currently.
Yeah, they went from a bad position to a relatively stable one. They still have Flowberry Fizz. They have the Underworld River, like just a pond, right? They don't even have to expose themselves to the full river. They have a pond right there that'll give them the effect. So all in all, this should, start to line up for them. Bak and Pars have found themselves inside the zone pretty comfortably now as well, too. You can see those two eliminations definitely setting themselves up right as far as damage is concerned. And look, they want to go even more center. They don't want to risk it at all. Trying to play to the best of their odds right here. Get away from those teams that are going to start rotating in. It's actually a great spot to be in. Cooper and Kanata playing the surge base for sure. Big boy base set up here. Foundation, rock solid as well. You can see the extra ramps and walls to protect it.
It's only one elimination, though. Those are the kinds of tags that you want to see happening. Kanata definitely still on the hunt. And he's got a really good stronghold here. There's a couple of teams a little bit more towards that west side coming from that bunker location essentially situated at, but Miro dropped in seconds. Dukes will manage to turn things temporarily. Aiden,
No, Miro.
hey, this could be an opportunity to just trade revives, but instead Duke's going to have to drop one more layer. Looking to challenge Hound outright. Another team has now introduced themselves to the conversation, and that's going to be Dukes, likely having to forfeit.
They're taking the body. Look, they've effectively taken Miro's body from the storm and dragged him into the next couple
No,
boxes.
Miro, you're
Over
dead,
something here.
man.
Dukes is
Miro died.
probably wondering, like, what is going on right now?
Oh, man.
He doesn't
Oh,
have
dude,
time to
gotta
spare
clutch
here.
This, man.
There is a med kit. Okay, double med kit. He grabs it. Let's give him a lot of options now.
What's also nice is that Reciprocal and G-Money, they just left. This could be just so fixated on taking each other out. It's just so
What's
unfortunate
happening?
when a third party just intervenes entirely, because now both those teams worse for wear, and I don't even think that was an initially good fight in the first place, considering where they were situated at. It was kind of just begging for another team to force their way into the conversation.
Yeah, they were kind of like out of the line of sight, but a bit too passively positioned, and all of a sudden, saw what happened there. Everything else played out. Bree and Ritual have had the zone pull directly on top of them time and time again now. The zone goes furthermore into the north side of the Grim Gate here. So it's going to start drawing its way out of the water. That will start to make things very interesting here in the end. Who's going to be able to save their dashes will likely come away with it in the end. Reed also using the Wings of Icarus as well. Interesting to see how teams are holding on to those. I don't think we've seen them actually come out, though, like in full play, but they've
The Booga story.
inventory.
Booga and Agers, well, primarily just Booga, I think, is going to be the first player on NA, at least, that comes to mind for Wings of Icarus preference. But yeah, here today, that's definitely kind of a first-timer situation there. But Reed and Ritual always wants to be able to showcase their flexibility and newly developed strats.
I almost forgot Clicks and Epic World were in this game, honestly, without quiet. They've been just lurking, and it does seem like the zone's going to go far, far east here. Mixon and Paco find themselves on the wrong side of the territory, and then on the wrong side of the surge, so they jump into Epic Whale and Clicks' box, and the damage and punishment was laid down, but not enough to finish off Epic Whale here, so they're going to have to count their lucky blessings. That could have went terribly bad for them. As Paco and Mixon, look at how much loot they delivered. They weren't necessarily desperate just yet. However, they didn't want to wait to chance it out against the Storm. And look at this. Clicks and Epic Whale actually needed those elims too. They're only 300 above. And with how healthy Paco and Mixon were, I mean, that's the 400 damage that was just given to them. So crazy how things just line up for them right now.
Not Clicks' first care package, that's for sure. But
Right.
hey, you'll never see duos complaining in those kinds of circumstances. Thought for a moment that Rapid and Batman Booga were going to try and ruin Clicks and Epic's day. They could have potentially keyed from their position since they were just one box over from where Clicks and Epic had previously been at. But the zone pool has got everybody on the go here. A little bit of Flowberry Fizz, regenerate some of the shield. Clicks Epic planning their next area of attack. And actually, Click's just going to throw up a couple of small shield potions. Seems like they're content right now to just stick it out on the low ground. They've managed. Clicks can tell there's a team holding height right now. Whether he knows it's Baka and Pars is a different situation, but they're good on Surge. So as long as you're safe for the time being, you don't really need to do anything to compromise their current position. They're probably just going to wait for when the zone actually starts to close to get a move on.
Yeah, they have to jump on the zone right here. This is the best spot to be in. Pars and Baka have the height, though. So their decisions to go center and trust in their gut to play for the middle of the Grim Gate has definitely paid off. And I highlighted this team at the start as a team that I genuinely thought was going to dominate in the early game, but it's taken them a little bit to get online. And right now we could be seeing the early signs of what could be them taking the throne from Paco Nixon for the longest endgame hold if they can do it to win it. It's not going to be easy, though. Baka's already halfway through his material. He's burning a lot to state. Pretty rock solid up top.
Sure, definitely in a tough spot. Fade, gonna catch a fade on the go away there from Shore, but Sprite falling will leave Shore try and play it as a solo. Epic and Clicks, though, they found their opportunity. They've been eyeing it out, scoping out the territory, and that's gonna be a force down. Pars abandoning the high ground. Clicks more than happy to scoop it out from underneath. And now Clicks and Epic, they've got another threat behind them. Sphinx, hello?
This is just tragic. Sphinx and threats come out of nowhere, but they get dropped down as the fight breaks out here. Epic Whale and Clicks do not want to give this up easily. However, they are, I think, still not maintaining height just yet. Yeah, look at the way Epic Whale's building. He's throwing cones above him here. Not quite sure if there was a team up top, so it cost him a little bit. Kanata and Cooper now look to take height themselves here, and it's just an all-out battle here, and Epic Whale is willing to bolster up and puff his chest out to fight back for it, and he does maintain his position there, and it costs Kanata everything. Now down to 5 mats. Into the box he goes. He needs this refresh, and he gets it, and it's on to Pars. Finishes up what was left of him, and they are right back into the game, but they're in a much worse position than they were before. And I just have to wonder who's on height. Link and Zyro were the last to jump, and it seems like they get to reap the rewards of everyone else's struggles.
Look, Clicks and Epic had already laid down the foundation for most of what's situated up here on height currently. Kanata and Cooper just completely ruining that potential game-winning opportunity there.
Look, no mats.
Well, and Cooper, yeah, no mats. No life as he gets knocked in the process. Kanata, though, trying to break through into this next box, will manage to pick up a med kit, but again, he is forced to just stay underneath these other builds because with Link and Zyro up top, it's only a matter of time before Kanata gets spotted out. Brief moment, though, as he picks up a handful of builds, some leftover loot that's fallen from other bodies surrounding him, but Bolts at the forefront, actually, on the low ground. And Zyro, he's going to be forced to drop as well. No materials, but that might just be enough here for Zyro and Link. They just need to find this last player, and Victor might be going for the heal off.
Yeah, but he dropped that heal off so early. Yeah, look, he's trying to jump on over to see what he can do. And it is not going to be enough. Link and Zyro with the most well-timed, to be the most well-timed duo for the high ground take the win for game number 4, and they walk themselves to finals. And today has been a day of all types of upsets and different stories going down. I was celebrating so soon for
that potential game-winning opportunity there.
Look,
for Maxwell and Cooper. Yeah, no match. That might just be enough here for Zyro and Link. They just need to find this last player, and Victor might be going for the
enough taco.
For Lincoln, it almost seemed like, I don't even know that they necessarily wanted the high ground, right? They managed to just isolate Epic after they recognized, hey, Cooper, Kanata, they've already played spoiler to the fact that Clicks and Epic were trying to hold down the high ground. Just talk about pacing to virtue, because Link and Zyro could not have picked a better moment, essentially, to overtake the high ground.
At this point, I'm just thinking, how many lower bracket teams? Is this another lower bracket team coming out of nowhere? Is that Robot and Z-Link for the game 4? Well, We'll have to find out there. Taco, what a game for sure to unfold here. All types of surprises here for the upper bracket too. Let's go and send it over to Zeke to keep us updated though on the standings.
Thank you guys so much. Big shout outs to you guys. And of course, Zyro and Link, a victory royale, which means a ticket punch to grand finals. Man, when you looked at that lobby toward the end game, there was just so many big names, so many duos left to fight solo.
Yeah.
It was another one of these crazy games, and it all came down to the height, right? Like, we thought it was looking good. We thought Clix and Epic Well had height. It was fine. But, you know, Vivid, sometimes certain things unfold.
Oh my gosh, certain things, a whole lot of
That's
things
crazy.
that game. So many teams kind of looking to
Wow.
play the high ground first and foremost. I have no
They
idea
won.
how Clix and Epic Well even ended up on
They
height
deserve
over
it.
Bach and Pars. It seemed like they were so high up, and then Clix and Epic Well win.
They deserve it, you guys. I've never seen anybody unknown as them. They deserve it, bro. They deserve it. They won. They won it, man. They deserve it.
A
They
fight.
deserve it, man.
Taking advantage, and these players clearly were paying
Yeah, they
attention to the
deserve it.
absolute chaos that was going on in high ground. 4 different height steals happening in the span of 30 seconds, and our casters were asking about Zyro and Link and where they came from. They did come from the lower bracket, but they got
Wow.
4th place yesterday, including 2 victory royales, and they clearly showed that they were able to grab the winning moment yesterday and then again today. So excited to see how they're going to do in the grand finals.
Hey, consistency. Win games, end up in that top placement. Now we're going to grands. And now it's about playing for the Axe of Champions and a spot to the global championships. Link, they've got to feel super, super good. Shout outs to Zyro and Link once again. Clix and Epic Well. I just wanted to go back to them. Yeah, man, that high fight. I don't even know what to call this anymore. Hype fight? Sure. It was kind of insane, especially like these guys had they were in such a good position for so long. And then this is like a great example of like, it doesn't matter what it looks like or how good it looks. Sometimes a duo is just going to push you and then it's just like chaos, right? And it's duos that can kind of find their way, navigate this chaos. They can kind of ultimately hold that high ground. But this one seems to have been just a little too much of a shakeup there for Clix and Epic Well.
I don't know what it is. Kelly, we've had this conversation multiple times. It's like so many times they're on the high ground and it just seems like they can't hold it, whether
And
it's just like the
must-
lobby
Wow.
sniffs it out, sniffs
Looks
out
like
some
they're gonna
weaknesses
win.
are there,
Yep.
or they're just doing something wrong. It just feels like every single time it's almost the same story.
By the time they took height, they had about 50 builds just on Clix. I don't know what Whale had there, but it's not their builds, and they even had decent heals. It's their loadout, and I'm wondering if they weren't able to get a bunker this game. We weren't really able to watch that happen, and they just had green and blue weapons there. And so once these engagements did happen, they were in the lower echelon of that
Last
capability.
round.
But
Major
looking at the
finals.
teams that we have here in our standings, Clix and Epic Whale, even though they're not able to hold height, they're able to hold the high ground in our leaderboard, currently sitting in 5th place right now. And then, of course, Kanata and Cooper, the duo that tried to steal height from far away, in 7th place. Not a bad spot. Ooh, I'm so excited to watch this height steal right here because they were ramping from so far and actually going for the chop early into the height steal. I love it.
Yeah, it looked really, really good, right? They were front side of the zone, of course. Clix and Epic were getting slowed down by the fight between them and Threats. But it seemed like Kanata and Cooper just got, they took damage from somewhere whilst that was going on, forced to kind of back off. And then we saw Kanata go ahead and try to solo clutch up right there, but ended up coming 5th place. Played the med kits for as long as he possibly could. So clutched up a couple of points there. Still going to be sitting in 7th place. So with only one game to go, Zeke, I would say that they're definitely going to be top 25 at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that you can kind of tell he clearly was not playing for the Victory Royale. This is actually something Kelly brought up in the last game, was maybe we don't play for the Victory Royale anymore. Maybe we just played to lock ourselves in the top 25, or if we're a duo on that bubble in the very end, we're trying to get into the top 25 to stay in the upper bracket. As we continue to flip over, let's see who is currently on the bubble. 88 points, tied between two duos right now.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't know how to read oh my gosh. Okay, so this is kind
Miro.
of crazy. And the fact that it's Paco and Mixon,
24.
Duke and Miro as well. We've seen both these duos pop off yesterday, today, and they're sitting here on the bubble, Viv. That's quite scary.
I mean, yeah, there's other duos down there, 29, 28. You got Aviv and Chubbs, Oliver OG, and Larson. Well, this last game, victory is going to mean a lot, Kelly, but so is all of the points, placements, eliminations, everything.
I am so excited to see what is going to change in this final game. We already saw a little bit of a change in last game. Game number 4, Re and Ritual switching over to Grim Gate, but it also seemed like half of the lobby was over there as well. So maybe we're even going to see some more changes going into this final game of day 2. But I do just really quickly want to give a shout out to, we now have representation from Mexico and from Colombia from our teams that have made it through today. So I love to see this international. And speaking of international, Muzz also made it through. So I love to see this. I just want to give a big shout out to the international competition that we're having here over in North America.
One game left to go. This is it. You can see the stress on my face. I can feel it right now. We're looking for the victory out, looking to stay in the top 25, or if we're outside that top 25, want to fight our way in. This is day number 2 of the semifinals. Let's do this one last time on the day. Casters, take it away.
It's all right, Zeke. We can calm down. We still have game 5. Then, of course, a full rack of games tomorrow. Maybe the end of tomorrow, you can let your stressor start to rise as chances start to run thin. But Taco, here we have it. Game 5. It's already here.
Things might get messy here, though, MDF, just because of the simple fact that if you are not the team securing the Victory Royale, well, you better be one of the teams in that 6th through 25th position, because that's what I feel like a lot of our teams in this final lobby are really going to be trying to emphasize on. If they're just outside of that 25th place position, everything in their power, all the strats, they got to come out because game 5 is ready to roll.
Last game.
I'm excited. Here we have it. Game 5 is here. Who will take the last Victory Royale on the NA region here on this wonderful Saturday evening? Well, hopefully it's a team that is well deserving of it, which everyone here is, but it's not going to come easy. Take a look as we're starting to jump on out. Mount Olympus contested by a couple teams here from the quick glimpse of the map. And you know what? We haven't really talked about how the battle bus can influence your draw spot or play a factor, but it surely does. And this bus is going to make it really difficult for all the teams that are landing on the western side of the maps, as they will have a long stretch to get to their drop first.
You can already see, though, the Armada is arriving at Grim Gate. One after the other. Chimp and Scissor, though, going to get the best drop currently there. Chimp with the God Chest. May Fishy likely shot out of the sky on their departure from the battle bus. Unfortunate stuff, but Chimp has no time to spare here. Just trying to loot out as quickly as possible, take advantage of some of these barrels here, get a little bit of shield online. And Chimp actually going to be max 200 soon. That's going to be a very optimal fighting position. Blue Gatekeeper shotgun as well. You can already tell there's a player approaching from the stairs. And pretty big possibility here too for Chimp that he just tries to meet up with Scissor as soon as possible. Maybe look challenge Pops and Monkey, try and overtake Grim Gate essentially, because the sooner they can lock down that aspect of agility, the sooner they get that Mythic Gatekeeper shotgun, they'll be able to really take over in this final lobby.
Yeah, just fully aware that there's opponents everywhere here. Ritual and Reet touch down, find themselves a quick elimination here at the Reckless Railways, and then they're off to cap their materials out to get ready for the end game here. Look at this. Are they? I think they're sitting on top of a reboot card, if you ask me.
This is some villainous behavior.
I think they know exactly what they're doing. They're like, yeah, you're not getting this, buddy.
Cooper and Kanata, though. Again, we've seen a good amount of these two in the end game as well. 184 points currently. So I'm pretty confident in saying that these guys are basically set as far as that 6th through 25th position is concerned.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want to clarify for the rest of this lobby, 26th through 50th, don't
Miro
worry. It's not the end of the
and
road.
Dukes.
They'll still have tomorrow's lower bracket to play through. It's just a lot more ideal to make it in through uppers, obviously.
But
Miro and Dukes.
do Dukes and Miro have enough? 88 points to me doesn't feel very safe. So this is a scary, scary fight. Now, they have been fighting here at the Classic Courts just about every game. We've seen one or two of these duos fall victim to Miro and Dukes in the games. But look, they also have 60 points, right? So it has shown you that Aiden and Hound have found their fair successes of making it out of these early game
Dukes got hit
battles here.
hard.
So far, the trades are good for Aiden here, who just punishes Duke big time here. And it's a bit of a reset right now. They got to get their HP back up if they want to go ahead and walk away with this one. But, I mean, what's your take? Taco, do you think Miro and Dukes have enough to get top 25 right now?
Yes.
It's too close for comfort, right? But I think if Miro and Dukes can replicate some of their late game success, find themselves with a strong placement, yeah, you could see hovering right at 24th. That is definitely on the cusp. Very possible for them to get edged out of that top 25 if they're not careful. So I think that's part of the reason why we see them not opting to play out that fight situation entirely with Hound and Aiden. They got a little bit of surge damage. That's more than good enough for the time being. They can just fall back and look for another opportunity to try and strike, because getting eliminated early on, it would just make it all too easy, I think, for these players, especially inside that 26th through 30th range, to overtake them.
Sabi with the high ground right now, putting down the pressure here. And I saw Flinty take down actually TK. That's the second game in a row TK and Bacon fall. And I mean, for all we know, the vets Ignalive finds Zooks for one in the feed there. Zooks over to the Mount Olympus here, have tried their chance here after giving up the lavish there to Clicks and Epic Whales. So just shows you the flexibility in a team and duo like Dragon and Poppy Blast. And look at this, they're trying to turn this back around and put the pressure back onto Shadow and Zooks.
Hey, nice DMR shot. Helps things out just a little bit here. Poppy Blast as well, applying even more pressure with that waterbending Mythic. And honestly, MD, these two have kind of been on tour so far today. Ever since they decided to give up trying to take that initial contest battle at the off spawn with Clicks and Epic at Lavish Lair, we haven't really seen a whole lot out of them since, but they're just trying to play their cards right. Trying to look for a strong finish to the day. While Aviv and Chubbs, ooh.
Even Chubbs at 70 right now, so inching their way to top 25. This is it. All of these elims are massive for teams that have a bit of a foothold in the competition right now.
Please, man. Miro,
But see, Aviv
win
and Chubbs,
this game, man.
keep in mind, they're on the other half of that split that Dukes and Miro like to go to in between Coastal Comms and Slumber Yard that's east of Classic Courts. The fact that Hound and Aiden stuck around as long as they did, they might have gotten a false sense of security once they recognized the fact that Dukes and Miro had opted to continue their rotation, continue not trying to stick around at Classic Courts. But this could be part of the reason why Miro and Dukes didn't want to stick around. They knew it was only a matter of time before Aviv and Chubbs made themselves known. Aiden with one knock, though. This is winnable. Chubbs, it's a precarious situation. He might just go immediately for the revive. He might even have a chance to stick it. Aiden doesn't have a whole lot of HP to operate with.
What's insane is if Aiden didn't miss that first pump shot, it would have been on for Chubbs right there. But he did, and that gives him a chance. Meanwhile, Epic Whale and Clicks are fighting for their tournament win at this point, as they found themselves right in between the claws of Kanata and Cooper. This is by no means any pushover duos here outside the Grim. But all right, everyone recognizes one another's skill sets and back off here. That could have gotten crazy. Some of the most consistent teams, of course, playing against one another. We jumped away from the Chubbs battle. We have an update as he had to save Aviv in that moment. Like we talked about, top 25 is all that matters here. So in order for him to maintain in the game, he had to put down Aiden, and he did. So that's where we leave there. But now he has to actually reboot his teammate, and that attracts Miro and Dukes to the equation because they took down or likely hurt Hound in the process here. So
gonna win. Yeah, they won.
It's not looking good for Aviv. He gets sniped out of the sky here, and Chubbs is left to fend for himself at the van. Miro's got one side, Duke's got the other. Duke's more concerned about the zone right now, as we talked about. Consistency means more. So in a different setting, Taco, they would finish this fight. However, with day 3 on the line in top 25, they're going to allow Chubbs to see another day.
Dukes really is the true villain of NA, though, man, because when you really boil it all down, Dukes being one of the primary reasons that whole shakeup happened in the first place with a lot of these teams, Miro and Aviv splitting because Dukes wanted to snipe Miro from Aviv, and then for Dukes and Miro to potentially be the ones to forcibly remove Chubbs and Aviv from the lobby, because even with
they love Chubbs, they knew who exactly was in that reboot van. It was Chubbs there, and to me that just shows the ultimate respect. Like, all right, that's still a very, very good player. Like, let's get some.
But they're forcing him to waste more time. He's got to go grab Aviv's reboot card one more time, try to bring him back into the action, and then they're still ahead of him, and they're moving towards the zone. So Chubbs and Aviv, that's still going to be time, that even more time now they have to expend refarming resources. But when they get towards the edge of zone, they're likely going to meet with Miro and Dukes yet again.
Well, we'll find out. Meanwhile, Reet and Ritual managed to get their HP back up after getting ambushed by Vorteca from the high ground here. And Grim Gate has just been incredible to watch play out for once on NA. While Boyo and PeterBot are not in the lobby, all of a sudden now this is the home of the action, if you will.
Well,
Like this, though, from Reet and Ritual. They've definitely managed to secure their own space route, and Ritual, safe rotation into edge of zone. For now, they can just look back, spray down everybody else. Kanata and Cooper, meanwhile, Flappy trying to be slick with it.
I like it.
Not gonna work out, though.
I like it, though. That was really slick. He could have waited longer, honestly. They had no idea who was there. He took the first shot, didn't get the full elimination blows, so it's on him.
sucks. That sucks.
Kanata and Cooper wearing the damage, though. They don't have big pots. Epic Whale has to be careful. Shots coming in from behind. This is bad. This is bad for Clix and Epic Whale right now, because they are distracted, and I called it. The sniper shot comes in, and Clix is looking so hurt right now. But he's fast, he's quick, he uses the Underworld Dash to get to the other side, get back to Epic Whale. He might be able to recover from this, but not if the duo in the distance starts to recognize there's a fight going down and fire in. But Epic Whale putting up the great defensive tags onto Kanata is going to buy Clix all the time that they need.
And look at that team hovering near the bridge still by that weapon bunker close to Charon's Crossing. Kanata and Cooper thought they were going to get the upper hand here for a second, but one more time, another disengage. What a perfect defense, though, from Epic Whale. He truly held it down, didn't panic for a second, and just made sure that Clix wasn't going to fall anytime soon.
Yeah, and also, man, respect to Clix to just dash across and really put himself at distance bay, right, to get to Epic Whale's side right there. So well played, utilizing the Underworld's dashes the way you're supposed to in those situations. See it, though. Rift Island spawns up. Fago and H-Cube get to it first. Duke and Miro have a chance to go up. Reet and Ritual have found themselves somehow around it every single time. It's almost as if they just have an eye for where it's going to spawn. But then again, the zones have been pretty favorable to this general area, right?
Yeah, Pleasant Piazza, Rift Island spawn. It's realistically not that difficult for Reet and Ritual to traverse towards, coming out of Reckless Railways. But I'm more so focusing in on the fact that Q, Fago, they seem like they're going to be the ones to claim the capture point here on Rift Island. Dukes and Miro also providing company, but making quick work of refarming some very important
How many
materials.
teams are here?
There
This
was
is
at
the
least
most-
6 underneath.
This is the most contested Rift Island. This is like reminiscent of back when you got points for being up here. Like, what is going on?
I counted 6 just in that frame. 5 on the island itself, and then G-Money and Reciprocal underneath. So probably going to try and pay a visit there as well.
Not only that, a healthy player count here as well. 73 alive. You take a look at the top left there. 37 duos in the game. So a lot of solos in the mix, but good, healthy mix of players up right now. The last game had a lot less. We had about 60 or so coming into the zone here. So it's really showing you guys that this last game means the world for some of these players here who need to break top 25 or pull a miraculous win to go ahead and push your way to finals. Pars and Baka, one of the teams that have to worry about the ladder. They want the win. They're not too concerned about consistency right now. Last game, they tried to put themselves, you saw that, Taco, such a great effort. But Clix and Epic Whale had a different story in mind, the way they wanted to see that play out.
Yeah, again, just going to touch on the fact that Pars and Baka, one of the more popular teams that like to play for the Forecast Towers, especially since their drop ship station has potential for one spawning so close by. 2 of them, technically, if they want to venture a little bit further south. But when I saw them swimming in the water like that, MDF, I was almost thinking to myself, what if they encounter Paco and Mixon
That'd be
along the way?
That'd be unlucky, honestly. Paco Mixer, scary.
Oh, for sure. It's always a little bit funny seeing teams just swimming on that dead side of the zone. Right intentions from Rapid to look for good surge opportunity, but you're not going to get many of those, and they've alerted Reciprocal and G-Monster to the fact that, hey, we've got eyes on, so the builds go up, and the opportunity is now slipped between their fingers. Rapid, Batman, Booga, they're going to have to get a move on and just hope that next go around they'll be able to actually capitalize on some connected shots.
Quick update with Clix and Epic Whale. Halfway through the material count, lots of players on the rotate right here. And the team directly on his heels. They have the high ground as Reciprocal and G-Monster. Clix with a good read there. And they try to jump in onto Epic Whale. What is this? Desperation here. If I had to guess, and Epic actually gets tagged. The finish comes in. G-Monster doesn't get the full finish onto Epic Whale. I'm not sure what happened. It had to be the zone that likely ticked him over. Clicked almost boxed up G-Monster there, but he's got to save his teammate.
It could have also Rapid and Batman Booga. Keep in mind they were also behind. Epic maybe got clipped from afar. It's a good revive though from Clix.
Yeah, quick pickup there. No hesitation here. He's got to split some heals there. There it is. So they got the med kits. They hear shots in the distance. They're both going to go ahead and pause down here to heal. That was kind of crazy.
That was really tragic though. For the other team, not for Clix and Epic. A nice play. Now back-to-back circumstances where Clix and Epic will have essentially played for the other and done an excellent job at defending their duo. Some strong synergy coming out of those two in our final lobby here today. It's something that Aviv and Chubbs are definitely trying to replicate.
I was going to say, no way Aviv and Chubbs with a crazy comeback run right now. This is wild. Aviv, Chubbs now at 4 eliminations after taking down Dream there. Zone nearby. Top 25 in their sights. That threshold, though, if we can see the standings, I'm sure it has jumped up a good margin because a few of those other teams that had the positioning there are still in the game. So it is not going to be easy. They will have to likely pull a top 10.
Also just saw G-Money get picked off in the elimination feed. and that was credited to Pars. So plenty of people still looking for prime opportunities. Oliver OG.
Ooh.
DMR is good to go. Jacek, I am so sorry.
Wait.
That's going to be it.
And that puts Oliver OG at 80 points as well. So he's right there with Chubbs and Aviv. Yeah, this is all tough competition. Oliver OG and Larson can do it. However, they will also need likely a top 10 Warners to start dropping their competition like Chubbs and Aviv, who's right in front of them right now, boxed up. Clicks and will come in late from the zone here. They're in struggle town as they've managed to somehow survive the fights and then survive and weather the storm here that does so much damage just to split the game. Cooper finds an elimination there as well. So Cooper and Dukes getting active. I see Dukes catching elimination. All right, we got a lot of teams on the bubble here in the conversation. Things are getting super exciting here for the last game, the North America. This is game 5 of 5. You got to be top 25 if you want to make it to at least day 3 tomorrow for your chance at finals. Otherwise, it is a matter of getting a win here today, right here and now, or it's over.
Fencing fields as well, where the zone is pulling towards. It's just kind of condensing all of these players in a relatively flat area, which might be part of the reason why we see the elimination feed just lighting up currently. Oliver OG with the knock, though. That is a tough break because we just highlighted the fact that Oliver OG, 82 points, he was so close. But now,
Finish. Oh.
and Ritual just had to do it to him. It's
Unfortunate.
dog world sometimes, and that's going to be it. But keep in mind, though, Oliver OG Larson, being outside of that top 25, 60 25th, they can still make a run in the lower bracket from tomorrow.
Well, let's take a look at how it played out. And Ritual here come through. Find Larson. He's already weakened from the rotation and the initiation there. And Ritual found a third elimination, adding the duo to the card, if you will. But look at this. They also needed that damage, so it makes sense that they would have taken a fight there. So now start moving to new zone. Ooh, you see that sniper glint out of Clix's perspective there. That is a scary, scary sight. And Dukes is still going, by the way, Taco.
I think Ritual actually got clipped by play, given his health situation. But yeah, Dukes and Cooper, Kanata, everybody's kind of just got a hustle on right now.
See the damage coming in. Pressure's on right now. Zone 8. Low grounds, never been grassier. You're going to get out of here.
Oh, but 15 builds, man. That is a tough spot for Cooper to be in, especially with everyone else rotating. This side of the zone is just so condensed, and everyone's just trying to get to the edge of the next one. It's not going to be an easy feat. And Cooper, in fact, eliminated
Mixon
just seconds
eliminated
ago.
Clicks as well. This is looking dicey now. Kanata by himself. Update from Mixon's perspective. Oh no! Oh my gosh! The hook, line, and sinker onto Clicks.
That's an insane clip.
We've never seen that before.
No way that just happened.
Wow.
I don't even know what I would say. How do
That's
we even
crazy.
react
That's
to
actually
that, man?
crazy.
Clicks is probably just
Clicks has to be
absolutely
devastated.
baffled by what took place just now.
Devastated, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he can't believe it either. Epic Will has to do something big right now. I mean, the win, I feel like it's impossible, but you gotta fight for it. You never really know. Hades Chain is out. This is bad for Reet. This is bad for Ritual. Remember the damage, that's pure straight through. That's a one tag. Oh, full shield crack. It could have been really, really bad here for Reet and Ritual, who's at 7 eliminations now. They will be inside the top 25. That's undoubtedly. However, there's a win that could be potentially set up for them right now. They have some of the most material health and just overall situational advantage that the lobby has to offer. Miro is also alive still right now as well. Miro and Dukes are trying to fight at least
Come
for
on,
top
Miro, you
25.
got this, man.
And Miro finds Mixon with the elimination.
Ooh.
So I think Miro could possibly have done enough to at least see
Miro?
game number 3 right now, as they were
Miro
off to
just
one of the
killed Mixon.
diciest starts. But here we have it.
Miro killed
Reed and
Mixon.
Ritual now have the high ground.
Wow. Be quiet.
They are looking healthy on height as well, but waiting to see them apply a little bit more pressure to the teams underneath. I think Reed's really just trying to scope out, connect these high ground builds all the way down underneath, though. Miro stuck in the dirt currently. Just lost Dukes in the process.
No.
It's made a decent
Come on,
go,
Miro.
and now it's definitely going to come down to placement points, but Miro wants every last point that he can secure. A nice gift of another med kit find. 2 med kits, actually.
It's great.
Might be able to turn this one around.
Yeah, no, this is a perfect situation for Miro right now. He's already earned himself 2 placement points from just playing the med kits now. It's not going to last long. The sickness kicks in. It looks like his health just gets obliterated right there. But a top 8 nonetheless is very, very well. Blake just now falls too, so another great overall position in place here for Blake and Macwood. But now it's up to Chimp and Scissors, who only have 104 points. They are very much on the bubble for a top 25. This is everything. It's all or nothing right now. And oh, look at this. Macwood's still alive here. Falls inside the top 3. Chimp and Scissors earn a lot of points off those eliminations right there. But Reed and Ritual just have the advantage right now. But Chimp and Scissors still have some mats. So this is going to go a little bit more of the distance before we can call it here.
Reed is running incredibly low, though. About to get chopped out if he's not careful. He has that Flowberry Fizz primed it at already.
They come up.
In case they have to fall. Chimp and Scissor, they're going to make the attempt. They want this win. Reed's going to be the first to drop down. Chimp, huge chunk out of his shield. The break is good to go. Scissor, Ritual, both are not. Reed trying to do what he can to finalize this to his advantage. But the chug splashes, they're giving Chimp a little bit of time here, but Reed just needs one more shot.
Chimp is smart with the edits, but Reed finds it in the end, and it was so dangerously close. What a back and forth there in the end to close out game number 5. And guess who is going straight to the finals? That's right. It's the King, Reed, and SG Ritual. You know, you expect to see them there, but it's nice to see them wrap it up with a bow and get a win.
They were guaranteed another day of uppers
Who
if
could
they
win
didn't
if
pull this
yes.
one out, but
We
with
did
the
it.
Victory Royale in hand, they're going to be a lot more ecstatic at the fact that it's just straight to grands, like you already said, MDF.
Yeah, look at this one more time. Ritual jumps out, gets the most crucial trade, and you know, you got to give a lot of respect to Chimp, who didn't even have shields when this engagement started, swings his way around, and then the red edit right there. Anything could have truly happened in the end right there when you're that quick in those final moments. But game 5 goes to Ritual and Reed. Congratulations to you young fellows right there, who will, of course, go straight to finals. So, I mean, Taco, all in all, what a game 5 we just had.
Yeah, that was a pretty explosive finish, and for Chimp and Scissor, they've got to be patting themselves on the back for that. But what I want to see, MDF, is how this leaderboard has actually ended up on the day. So Zeke, Vivid, and Kelly, take it away.
Thank you so much, Monster D-Face and the best Taco. Great cast on the day. And my, oh my, Kelly, look at the big smile. Reed and Ritual, they get themselves that spot going straight to grand finals. Super well deserved from the duo. And again, just in those moments, what a tough zone, right? Against the kind of old man mountain there with no builds. They're both trying to slip in and out of builds. And these guys walk away with the win.
I never had any doubt in anyone saying, well, Kelly, you haven't been talking. No, listen, I talked too much about them in Major 1, and maybe that was a little bit of curse right there. So I decided to pull back a little bit, allow Reed and Ritual to play their game, and that's exactly what they did. They've always been about adjustments, and we saw a few games ago, they adjusted their drop spot from Reckless Railways over to Grim Gate, and that, although they weren't able to get the coin out of that, they still were able to utilize the advantages that that they need most, and that is when they take height and just dominate everyone else. I feel like they are the duo to have the most amount of eliminations when they are holding height. And just this moment right here with Ritual dropping down, able to get the angle onto Cyrazor there. And then, of course, if it's Reet, you do not want to 1v1 him. I am so excited for this duo to make their way into the grand finals.
Last game of the day, right? I mentioned it earlier on in one of their other good games. I was like, yeah, listen, I mean, Reet and Ritual, a lot more confidence in Major 1 coming from this duo, right? A lot better performances, but no surprise that we'll be seeing them in grand finals. And obviously would not be surprised if we see them just take it up a small notch when it comes to, you know, those games where the money is on the line, those cool spots for global championship.
Oh yeah, these guys have eyes on those spots, right? They want to take it to globals. If now, you know, taking it to Major 3, you don't want to wait that long. You want to just secure spots global championship. Just say, hey, look, later in the year we'll be there. We'll see y'all. But of course, once again, massive congratulations to the duo. In case you're just tuning in, you missed it. We have a list here of 5 games we had today. Players who got themselves the Victory Royale auto-qualified to next week's grand finals. They are good to go. Game 1 over to Aaron and Chance. They had their chance. Game 2, Tankacito and 1 Mil at 20 years old. Game 3 went over to Muzz and Paper. 4 to Zyrobot and Link. And finally, you just saw it, and Ritual got themselves game number 5. Brent, what a crazy day it has been.
I mean, Fencing Fields kind of dominating throughout the first 2 rounds of the upper bracket of the semifinals. I think it's 3 wins from that POI alone. So great to see that as well. And then I feel like the conversation of today, lower bracket teams, Kelly, I mean, I don't know where these teams are kind of coming from, but awesome stuff to see some of them qualify.
Yeah, 3 out of the 5 duos moving forward from the lower bracket. And not just the lower bracket coming out on top, but also the low ground. Yesterday, we saw all 5 wins coming from the high ground. And now we're starting to see a little bit more variety. This is typically what I would expect out of a grand finals lobby. So excited to see some changes already coming in. But Zeke, tomorrow is the last day, and it's a pretty big one because we have 40 duos making their way into the grand finals tomorrow.
That's right. And we have a look here at who is staying in the upper bracket. Duos that stayed in that top 25, they will return for tomorrow's upper bracket. The rest will fall to lowers. Let's take a look together. So just ignore 1 through 5th. They're good. They're going to grand finals. Clix and Epic Whale sitting very comfortable in that number 1 spot. I cannot imagine it that they come in tomorrow and they don't claim one of those spots.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Of course, another team been very, very consistent. Canada and Cooper over the course of the 10 games from both upper bracket sessions between yesterday and today. They got top 5 like 7 times. So very, very consistent there. Ooh, and I see Dukes and Miro and Paco and Vixen finding themselves in the top 25. Big question mark going into that last game if they were going to be able to pull it off because they were very, very close to not being in the top 25 going into this one.
Yeah, look how many placements they went up. They went 9 placements from 17th place, which means that they were in 26th place. And speaking of 26, no, it's Batman, Booga, and Rapid, but they still have a chance and opportunity tomorrow, so they're still not out. But Aviv and Chubbs making 24th place right there. Of course, Cyrazor and Chimp, the duo to get 2nd place in the final game, definitely is what they needed because they jumped up 16 placements to stay in the upper bracket.
Yep, 100%.
Sometimes that's all you need, Viv.
You know, yeah, definitely. And as you can see here, like we mentioned,
I bet, 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 I bet. I bet, I bet, I bet, I bet, I bet, I bet, I bet. All right, see you later, stream.